Yeah, everybody, it's awesome, eh? Okay, well, I'm glad you're being entertained with this guy here. So, okay, we'll start off with introducing my team. So, Janine, my sister, right? 21 years with me. Oh my God. Yeah, give her a big hand. She survived it so far. So, whew. And this is a struggle for her tonight too. Okay, my partner Nicola is back here. She's in the bird dress, so she's not going to come up. But yeah, everybody, yeah, you'll meet her tonight. Marla has been with us for how long now, Marla? And you admit this. Okay, 6 years, Marla. Awesome. So Marla's awesome. Allison is new at the gallery here. So Allison, you'll see her if you come to the Christopher Lake Gallery here. Allison's awesome. So from the area here. Okay, perfect. Well, Saskatoon, right? Saskatoon, yeah. And then George, the most important fellow at the back there, Janine's husband, has been the faithful bartender forever. So, yeah. Anyway, the beautiful flowers out here. My sister Jackie is in the crowd as well at the very back there. So if you need any flower information at your cottages, your homes, contact me. I'll subcontract her. No, I'm just kidding. And my beautiful neighbor Gladys made it tonight as well. So just next door. So anyway, awesome people. Awesome people. And of course all of you. So let's start off with a toast. Toast to Lakeland. Woohoo! Yeah, Lakeland. Okay, I joke about this, but I'm not going to have you for 3 hours tonight. Okay, if I am getting long-winded, just somebody give me the nod, okay? Come on, Jace, let's get, yeah. Oh, already? Whoops. What's that? Rider game, yeah. Which is your vehicle out there again? Anyway. Okay, it's not all glam and glory being a nature photographer every day. The last kind of, I guess since beginning of June to now, I've been working in the Narrow Hills Provincial Park where the forest fires have gone through. And it's been eye-opening for me and Laker as well, as you can see in the background there, and Nicola, just to work in that environment. Very dirty environment, N95 mask often to deal with the smoke and such. And I want to share this story tonight just because it's an important story that impacts us all right? I don't know if a lot of you know, but towards the beginning of June, we had a fire just to the south of Emma Lake. And luckily, the bombers were on it very quickly, and thankfully, we didn't have to worry about a forest fire in this area, because that could have changed really quickly. And the power of fire, just amazing. And these winds. The Jasper fires created their own weather system. Incredible. And when you would watch some of these flames sometimes, you could almost see how that could happen because there'd be little tornadoes that would come up from the flames. It was just incredible to watch. And some incredible moments of candling. Candling or torching up is when a tree is just like the end of a candlestick and it's just sitting there wavering up. And those would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 seconds. You would just see those trees torch up. Incredible amount of power there. The first one that I really experienced was this one. Yeah. I'm not out of my vehicle, everyone, just so you know. I'm in the safety of my vehicle. And there was a quick wind change. I was on the highway. There was a quick wind change. I want everyone to know as well, I had permission to be there. I had talked to the incident commander. I had permission to do various different things. And I went with a forest firefighter for one day to tell me what was safe and what wasn't safe. Because I didn't know for sure. It was new territory for me. But when this flamed up, the wind had changed and I was probably 50 meters away and it gasped me. It was incredible how quickly it came. So much so I put the truck in drive and hit the gas and just kind of spun out of there and just put the camera over my shoulder and shot. It was the first experience I had, so it was the most nervous. After that, I knew what to expect and I could film and photograph without having to worry too much. But it was a nervous situation and the actual fires, the actual flames, I was only in that for about 24 hours, 2 different days. And then I said enough of that. I don't want to cause any type of risk to anyone, and especially myself. But some incredible moments of just seeing these fires go through, and you really got the impression that obviously it's wind. It's all driven by wind, and these fires would move so quick when the wind would pick up, and then they would subside, and then they would go again. And the number of little fires that were never going to go out. They just sit there. And I'm told that some of these fires can exist underneath the peat 6 feet down. That they were putting probes down and they were seeing that there was fire activity underneath the peat as far as 6 feet down. These fires were very hot. They were very quick. that impacted what happened to the nature. That also impacted what happened to the ground. A lot of the soil content is gone, but it's amazing how it's popping back up and that rejuvenation. The last big fire there, from what I can find, was around the early 80s. Also, my sister Janine and Jacqueline would have went to St. John Bosco. We just dropped our stepson off there as well. So, and they remember the fire from the roadway as well, or that there had been a fire. The hectares that burnt were 43,000 hectares in Saskatchewan so far this year. So I think you have to multiply that by 2.5 to get the acres. All right, so you're looking around 1 million acres. Am I right with that? Does anybody know? That's correct, yeah. So 40 times the size of Saskatoon, if you can imagine that. Okay. And about 40 years of timber harvesting went up in flames in terms of the timber industry. The carbon emission for these fires far exceeds the annual emissions of carbon for any large nation. Yeah, so things are changing quickly. The boreal forest is warming up 3 times faster than southern Canada, okay? When you look at the Arctic is warming up 4 times faster. So we're going to have what might occur here is that the southern boreal forest might start to stretch north, and the northern boreal forest will start to stretch into the Arctic. That'll be the kind of succession that happens. Can you guys hear? You're okay? Yeah, everybody's good? Okay. Yeah, just walls of flames at times. So, what I was really there to document was the animal life and what was going to happen to these animals. When you read up on forest fires, it's surprising. A lot of animals actually survive them. They have the ability to run away. Large animals like deer and wolves, bears, things like that. One of the outfitters I spoke to up there, he mentioned that he had bear hunters in camp, and they were at their stand 2 days before the fire hit. And he said it was interesting to hear them comment that 2 days before, all of a sudden, there was no bears coming to their stands anymore. The bears are gone. They're smart. They know that something's coming, and they know that they have to be safe. So a lot of animals will adapt. There's certain species that don't.
Actually, I saw one of them down the pole on the other day trying to get recycled.
There he is. Yeah. Well, that's because we're not taking care of our garbage, right? So anyway. Yeah, is that true? Is there one down at Ambrose? Yeah. What's that? Nice Beach as well. Okay, so everybody here, you're all wild ones. I know you're all doing the right thing. Make sure you're taking care of your garbage. Make sure you're cleaning up your barbecue. We've got to save these little guys, right? They all need us. They all need us to do the right thing. We're in their habitat, so. This little guy, I had heard about him a few different times and finally got an evening where I got to see him and photograph him. And you can see his little bear bum. Yeah, he had had some burns. So that speaks of that fire, how fast that came through and how some animals were impacted quite quickly. Most get away, most outrun. This little guy was surprising. You talk about the bears at the co-op. He was so shy, and that's something I really found about the animals in the first little bit after the fire. Very, very shy, very cagey, not trusting at all. Very different behavior than I'm used to as a nature photographer. So my gut told me their senses were still up. They still were maybe having some PTSD, right? Questions, I love it.
So these two miracles
After
after the fires?
the fires, yeah.
And survivors?
These are survivors. Yeah, thank you for your question. Yes, any questions tonight? Please just pipe up. Don't be shy. Okay, I love questions. Otherwise, I'm going to talk all night. Yeah, these are survivors. So I did not personally witness it myself. We only found one animal that had perished in the fire. It was a rabbit, which is shocking. But it goes to speak at how fast those flames went through. Saw quite a few grouse. Okay, they would be able to fly away. But one of the biggest sufferers in these fires are nesting birds. So any bird nests up in the trees, they're not going to survive. So they're going to have to re-nest next year and come back and get going again. So some of the bird life would be impacted for sure. And then it's the whole idea of how do you find food. I watched a female grouse peck around for 30 minutes. I don't think she got anything. So she'd have to move. But I can tell you already within 1 month, the grass is back, the green is back. It's incredible how quickly Mother Nature rejuvenates. And I didn't see a lot of young animals, right? Those fawns, animals like that, they're not necessarily going to be able to keep up with mom when things start happening. They're going to get confused. And so that's just part of this rejuvenation and part of this natural cycle. Now, forest fires should be only occurring kind of every 70 to 80 years. But right now, major forest fires in Canada are happening every 5 to 6 years. So the frequency has really gone up, really gone up. This was a little bit of a happy story. Yeah. When I was walking through the trees and found this den, I was like, wow. And all around her, for miles and miles, it was just black. I'm like, how is she going to make it? But there was a creek about a mile away. And I thought she was on her own, but last night I saw the dad as well. So they're both helping out. Now, she did have 4 kits to start, and she's down to 2. But that might be common. That's not necessarily an uncommon thing. Not all the kits are going to make it in a litter necessarily. And they were doing some good hunting yesterday. But you can see the burnt forest here. There's no grass, nothing like that at all. Yeah, I won't lie. There was a couple roadkill rabbits I kind of dropped off at the den. I love it. Keep asking the questions.
Why did that habitat go back if they stayed fires? Why did they go back if they know?
They have to, so when it comes to the burrowing animals, her den is there. She can't up and move those kits, so she's tied to that location. And what's really amazing is the fact that everything is charred around that den. Burrowing animals actually can do quite well in fires. They'll get down in those burrows and they'll hide. As long as they're not suffocated out, they'll do okay. So, but she's tied to that area. She will move them very quickly as soon as they're ready to go. But they seem to be doing good hunting. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, that's the issue, is along those creeks and such, you'll see that there is some green. I'm going to show you some footage from a drone. Fires don't just come in and take like a swath necessarily, right? They'll sometimes leave green patches if they're wetter or if there's marshlands around there. So there's some areas that did kind of make it where these animals can eke out a living. But great question. Yeah. Anything else? Fires are amazing. Yeah, it's incredible to see this. That was last night. Tired mom, because she had brought back the biggest snowshoe hare for one of her kits. And the kit was so excited. I have to point this out. Look at the little dribble. So excited he peed his pants. He's like, lunchtime, I love it. Anyway, the second one didn't get anything. This one went running off in the trees and was like, I'm out of here, you don't get anything, brother. Anyway, yeah, not the nicest little fox. I scolded it. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, so. Mom brought a hare, but don't worry, Dad showed up with a grouse. Yeah, so the other one got to eat as well. But the light last night was just unbelievable what was going on with the light. This is in the Narrow Hills Provincial Park last night. Yeah, so this is all Narrow Hills. Yeah. So north of Smeaton, people know where the Narrow Hills is? Yeah. The Gem Lakes, Lower Fishing Lake, all of that? Okay? Yeah, so. The Shoe Fire went through there, okay? And the Shoe Fire was about 500,000 hectares alone. It was a huge fire. So just a massive fire that they had a hard time to control. It just got so big and so out of control with the winds, so. Interestingly enough, you can see a wasp up here, right? And a moth there. And there's a specific species of moth that is now going to just explode because it eats the bark of burnt trees. It needs it. And so there's going to be a lot of moths. And last night, when I was watching the kit on the den for hours, he was catching moths. He was hunting them down and catching them. He was grabbing them. I'm like, well, that's a little piece of protein, another little piece of protein. So it all will make sense. It all will work itself out. There's just a little bit of suffering right now. These trees will take, 70, 80 years to recover. But there are mosaics of trees that are there that didn't get burned. And that'll become some of the old growth forest. And those forests are necessary. That's why so many songbirds have evolved to different habitats in a forest. Some need old trees, some need burnt trees, some need brand new trees. but amazing in terms of some of the landscape stuff, moody. It will take a while. An area that was replanted 20 years ago by Weyerhaeuser, a logged area, those trees were only 20 feet tall, so it gives you an impression of how slow some of that growth can be. Yeah, amazing nights. Everybody's seen this up here at the lakes, the amazing red? Yeah, just incredible nights. Incredible mood. Yeah. Yeah. The extent is widespread, as you can see here, but as I mentioned, these pockets, right? This is one of the drone shots that I captured, and that's how forests are. Forests are mosaics of change over time. Our prairies, our grasslands were burnt all the time way back when. That's what made them the prairies, and the prairies might just extend a little bit further north now. We don't have the bison to keep them in check, but yeah, amazing along rivers and some of the wetlands, but a lot of toothpick areas. Yeah, just so stark. And that soil there, when you go through it, it's pretty much sand, and you go, how is anything going to grow? But this was a drone shot from about a month ago, and a lot of green is back. It's amazing where it finds its nutrients. Isn't that amazing? It's just miles and miles of this. Yeah. This gives you a graph, you guys. 2024 was a fairly big year with fires as well. 2023 was off the charts. And 2025, it'll depend on what happens in southern BC in August. So BC in August, southern BC in August is generally when the fires flare up there, and that determines how much we're really going to have here. This was from a while ago. You can see the date was June 1st, so I don't have the most up to date. I looked today, but it wasn't there. So it's a ways back still. But anyway, okay, we'll leave that there, okay? And I'll ask you guys a question. How do you cheer up a fox that has hurt his tail? Little retail therapy. Hey, did you get the email? I said there was going to be groanable jokes. You guys signed up to come. So anyway. Nick's rolling her eyes. How am I with this guy? Okay, our first draw of the night, okay? And this is for, which car is this? Yeah, good for you. Oh, we got to be careful. Oh, geez. Oh, is that the one? That's the one. We'll call that the one. Whoa, okay. I love that. Joan Bauer. Congratulations, Joan. Oh, we need another piece of artwork in the Bauer house, eh? Okay, it'll be for a $50 gift certificate. It'll be up here after, okay? Awesome. Okay, this is Snuggle Sandwich here, and amazing shot. For those of you that have collected it, thank you. Nicknamed Peanut Butter and Jelly. Yeah, so. Anywho, I'm going to talk a little bit about the foxes of Waskesiu, just because they're so special. I think Gary commented on it. Can everyone see? Just one eye, right? Yeah, so this fox has been amazing. She has been around for 6 to 7 years. She lives on the Narrows Road for the most part. I imagine some people give her handouts, which is not okay. Okay, don't feed wildlife. Here she is caching some food from the winter. I was sitting on a wolf kill. And she gets a lot of advantage when the wolves kill. She'll grab some food and cache it so nobody can find it. And just a good fox. Amazing how she makes a living out there. Look at that tail, eh? Little scent mark. They do that so that they know where to find that cache, right? They gotta remember the smell. So they can't necessarily find it without a little scent. Yeah. She's like, you're not getting my food, Raven. Yeah. So she'll typically be out in the middle of the day when the wolves aren't there, right? she'll be smart enough, because wolves will attack and they may injure a fox. They're protecting their food. So she's very smart and knows that, and has eked out an incredible living. She's had a number of families over the years that have survived. Snuggle Sandwich was not for her litter, okay? There was an image also released known as Resilience. That was her as well. So she's just been a real treat to have in the Waskesiu area. The Potts, have you guys seen her? You have. How many people here have seen her? 2. How many? 4. Who else has seen her? You guys have seen her? About 6 people. If you're ever down the Narrows Road, take special note. Look at the foxes, okay? Because you got to look at their eyes. Anyway, one of the releases tonight, there's 3 new releases. Waskesiu's One-Eyed Wonder. Yeah. So 1972 is the year I was born. Oh my God. Anyway, cheers to 1970. Who else was born in 1972? Oh, just me. Okay. Great year. Oh yeah, cheers. I like it. Right on. Hey Gladys, what are you doing cheersing back there? Anyway. So 1972 was the year that David Henry released his PhD on red foxes from Prince Albert National Park. That was where the first Canadian research on red foxes was done, was in Prince Albert National Park, because there was such a population of them there. So incredible. In our area here, if you ever see a black fox, that is a red fox. It's just a color morph, okay? Sometimes they'll be black in color, known as a cross fox. And that's an adaptation to our dark boreal forests, so that they can blend in and they're better hunters. So they're selected for in these areas. Okay, next I'm going to switch to now, I don't want to alarm anyone here, but I just got a notification that someone in this room might be an owl. Who? Okay. You guys get to rate the jokes at the end, okay? We'll go through the list at the end. I'll read them all off and we'll cheer, okay? All right. Anyway, there is a very strong man around us, Harold Fisher. Works with owls all the time. He can put his hand up. If you want to know anything about owls, talk to Harold tonight, okay? I was out with Harold a lot this winter, a few times, and photographing owls. There was a big eruption this year of northern hawk owls. And Harold, if I say something wrong, make sure you correct me, okay? And these guys here, what are these guys? Anybody know? Great gray owls, okay? Amazing species. Stand 3 feet tall, wingspan of 5 feet, right, Harold? Pretty close, yeah. And how much would they weigh? 1,200 grams. So imagine that big owl, you think, oh, if it lands on my arm, it's going to sink me down. No, their bones are hollow. There are a lot of feathers, right? You're welcome. Come on in. Don't be shy. No, it's fine. There's chairs here. There's chairs there, wherever you'd like. Yeah, front row seat, you got it. Oh, did you bring berries for us? No, we're out of luck. Okay. All right. Well, you're welcome. Don't stress. And beautiful little shakes like this. Watch down here now. Watch down here. Oh, maybe it doesn't happen. Yep. Oh, and you have a good stretch, you know. Yeah. Anyway, you might have seen its eyes. I can flip back to that. I'll show you that again. Not the last part, but anyway. Here we go again. Watch the eyes. You'll see there's a thin little membrane there. It's called a nictitating membrane. Protects their eyes. So they have a secondary eyelid when they're basically need to protect from anything that's coming towards their eyes. So anyway, neat little owls. They have a big ear slit on the side. Their faces are concave, which acts like a big kind of parabolic, am I saying that correctly? I hope so. But mirror, and it just gathers all this information, all this sound when they're hunting. All right? So they kind of know what's going on, and they're very good hunters. They need about 6 to 8 voles a day. Yeah. Some days they have off days. I can relate to this, right? What does an owl with an attitude have? Come on, that's easy. Jeff? A scowl. Oh, this is getting good. I have only 10 more jokes to go, so don't stress. Anyway, beautiful animals. He's just fluffing his feathers here, preening his feathers. It was beautiful evening light. I got out about 3 weeks, probably 7 times in those 3 weeks. One of them was with Harold the one night. Was that 19 owls we saw that day, Harold? Something like that. It was incredible. So an incredible eruption. What's going on here? These owls are moving from the northern boreal forest where they're quite secretive and coming down here because either A, their food sources have kind of crashed up there, or maybe the snow conditions have changed that they can't get to their food source. So every few years we'll get kind of these big eruptions, and it was spectacular. I believe Harold caught the most owls he's ever caught in 1 year, correct? Record year. So yeah, they really were down here in big numbers. Got to see some incredible moments of them hunting. I read online that a 140-pound person standing on top of the snow can't break through this snow, but an owl can. Incredible to punch through that snow and know that there's a mouse underneath there. Yeah. Very lucky moment here. Look at that. Yeah. Harold was with me when I captured this. Yeah. Incredible moment. And then the fly off. Yeah. Yeah. Big gangly legs. I always think they look like that. Who is that from the Muppets? Anyway, but what's that? Gonzo, yeah. Anyway, beautiful, beautiful species. And of course, wow, I didn't expect that reaction on that one. Northern hawk owl. What do you call an owl with a low voice? A growl. Okay, anyway, some beautiful moments with owls. And I released this print here, captured on a morning with Nicola and I just out in the woods. The Power of Gray Owl. And it was our Earth Day 2025 print. Gray Owl was such a conservationist, an amazing individual who brought attention to our connection to Mother Nature, through the beavers, through everything that he did. I know he has an interesting history and such, but his works are incredible. And one of his famous quotes was, "We all belong to nature." And we do. At the end of it all, we all belong to nature. So the Power of Gray Owl, you would not hear that owl flying. They have fine little barbs on their feathers that dampens their sound. Prey cannot even hear them coming. So at times when owls come over your head, it's very eerie because you're like, wow, I'm glad that owl isn't larger because I would be prey. I wouldn't even know I was going. So incredible eyesight, incredible everything. To Mother Nature, to Gray Owl, to the area. Okay, cheers. Yeah, we need a halftime where George walks around and fills everybody's glass. Oh, lots of people nodding. Wow. Do you guys want a break? No, no breaks. Keep going. Okay. All right. That is a 6-hour time lapse from the beginning of March. Yeah, it was an incredible night of Aurora Borealis. Just beautiful. How many people have seen the aurora this winter? Oh, a few. Yeah, quite a few. If you are wondering about seeing it, you're always kind of worried, how do I know if they're going to be out? On your mobile phones, there's a little purple app called Aurora. Download that, okay? It'll give you notifications if they're going to be out. And then you can just head outside and look. It's best to be in northern latitudes, but you see them often in the south as well, just because we're at a solar peak, which happens every 22 years. So this is going to happen for the next year or so, and then they're going to start to fall off again. So take advantage of what we're seeing right now. They're incredible right now. So what's going on there? You have charged particles. Why can they predict them? Because it's charged particles coming from sunspot activity racing towards our atmosphere. And as they hit our outer atmosphere, they bend and they light up and illuminate the gases in our atmosphere. So nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, they all get illuminated. And that's the different colors. If you have the reds, they're quite low down those charges because that's then oxygen getting illuminated. So if you see red northern lights, pretty special night. Pretty special night. And of course, many of you have collected my pieces from here. Aurora up in the top. Silent Dance was my very first one from way back when. Nightlife at Emma. that was just a night of some young teenagers out at Murray Point. No, just kidding. And a Symphony of Grace from Sandy Lake here. So amazing, incredible moments with the Aurora in the Lakeland. So how many people have Aurora images of mine already and have collected them? Holy cow. Wow. People love the Aurora. How can we not? Land of living skies, right? Well, we have a new one for you all. Uh-oh. I see a lot of people grumbling. Honey, no more Bantles. We do have support agencies for people that are struggling, okay? So talk to George later. He is a bartender. He'll help you with support. No, just kidding. Okay. Anyway, Dreams of the Forest. Yeah, beautiful night. Yeah, just a beautiful night. Okay? So we'll unveil these at the end, all right? Okay. I'm going to share a few releases that came up over Mother's Day and Father's Day, just quickly with you. They're in the gallery. They're already released. We're not going to release them tonight, but they're new out, and I just want to talk a little bit about them. How is the time, everyone? Everybody good? We're at 32 minutes. We only have another hour, okay? I'm joking. Yeah, commitment. The Newfoundlanders call these guys bricks with wings. Yeah, because they're really small. If you've ever seen puffins, they're really small and they have small little wings. They don't look as big as a penguin or anything like that. Their brilliant, beautiful beak is only in the breeding season and in the summer. Come fall time, it'll get quite gray, and I'm told by one of our team members in Alberta, she's a biologist, that they actually shed it. It's keratin, it's like shedding our nails. So it actually falls off, which is incredible. I didn't know that. They pick up gifts every once in a while to keep the pair bond going with their partner. But the reason that I called this commitment was because of the spiritual reasons of puffins. So it's known that in tough times, this is a bird that is known to go through them with grace and honor. Yeah, so they're committed. Their scientific name, which I had to write down, is fracturcula, means little brother. And so they're also nicknamed little monks, because they have the monk robes. So there's a lot of spirituality behind these guys and a beautiful little species. A Time to Reflect. This was released for Father's Day. Sorry, the previous one was Mother's Day release. A Time to Reflect, the $20 view of Moraine Lake. That used to be on the back of our $20 bill. And that is not a $20 view. If you go there now, you will see it's Disney view. Yeah, the number of shuttles and such that go in, it is amazing how popular our Canadian parks have become. And any of you traveling out to the mountain parks, be ready for that. My suggestion is visit in May or September or October. It's just incredible. And we have to think about that respect. And I've talked with Parks Canada and some of the officials in our Alberta parks. The mountain parks are known as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And what their idea is that it's gotten so busy that some of these areas are going to be nodes of busyness. So they're going to have to sacrifice some of this so that some of the backcountry stays wild. And we only have 65 grizzly bears in Banff National Park, but those numbers are actually increasing. And the reason being is because some of the trails, well, they're just not maintaining them as much, quietly, right? They're telling people to go to Moraine, they're telling people to go to Lake Louise and some of these other areas, just to protect what's there, because the area cannot sustain the number of people that are visiting the parks. It's a great problem to have, and we're amazing to live in Canada, and that these are our parks, but we have to all gather together to protect them. And the biggest thing is protecting Captivating Castle. Again, a Father's Day release. And this back in the 60s was renamed Eisenhower Mountain. Okay, the Premier of Alberta at the time decided to rename it as a gift to the American president at that time. Recently, at the G7, Daniel Smith approached our Mr. Trump and offered to rename it the Trump Towers. Anyway, so Trump said, listen, I'm interested, but can we make them gold? And Parks Canada is considering with Daniel Smith making them gold, and they'll be, of course I'm joking, so anyway. All right, Lakeland love, okay? So we love the lakes, we love the Lakeland, we love you all. It started here 21 years ago. Amazing. The All in Wild community is a real thing. We've conserved 2,000 acres for nature. Cheers. One small little company, 16 people. We all appreciate your support. from a small town, Cudworth, where, you know, all the teachers said I wouldn't amount to no, I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, it's incredible to have built something and an example of what can be done and how we can make a difference in little ways. It's not a big way, but it's a little way. Hold her tight. Yeah. The other Mother's Day print that was released, so there was 2 Mother's Day prints, the Commitment and Hold Her Tight. Amazing mother bear. We all know they go 6 to 8 months without eating, give birth to these little cubs. They're out on the ice hunting, and every once in a while the little cubs will sit down and protest. The saturation of light in the Arctic is incredible. You just can't believe it. I used to shoot 35 millimeter film. For those of you that shot film, you might have shot Velvia slide film. It was so rich in color, and it would have just been too much for this image, because for a half hour, 45 minutes, you get these pinks and purple hues, because the sun takes forever to set in the Arctic. I entitled it Hold Her Tight. She got up from a little nap, and the cub was just not sure about us. So, yeah, anyway, incredible moments. And I wasn't fortunate to spend time with David this year in the Arctic Ocean ice. The week before I was to go, David got sick unexpectedly. He's doing okay. He's had a few little scares here and there in the last few months. But he's a man of the north, and he'll keep going. So I just want to do a cheers to Mr. Nuyaluk, and you guys can keep him in your prayers. So David, yeah, David's awesome. I can tell you, I do not have a problem. I still have wine, the rest of you don't. That's okay, let's get this party started here.
Waiting in the cool side of the parking lot, and then this guy shows up.
The Arctic wolf was peeing on the back of a snowmobile. That's what he thought of us. Anyway, that's not my video. That is Silas, one of the young men that took us out. There was 8 of us, 4 Inuit young men, and 3 other photographers and myself. It was a last-minute trip that Nicola put together for me. Thank you, Nicola. It was a gift. Ellesmere Island has always been on my list. Yeah, north of 80 degrees. I checked today, the temperature there was -5. Yeah. Grise Fjord is also known as Asoytuk, excuse me. And that means the land that never thaws. It is a very cold environment. And when you're there, it's like being in the Rocky Mountains without any vegetation. It's very new habitat, very new exposed mountains. We found some petrified wood that the guide said was probably 50 million years old. Yeah, there used to be beautiful swamps and marshes there. It used to be a completely different landscape. But just incredible. Incredible landscapes. We traveled 560 kilometers to the Eureka weather station from Grise Fjord. My knees, my hip. Yeah, no, I can't talk about it. I just can't talk about it. Anyway, one of the women from Switzerland had some pain meds, so that was good. Anyway, you realize how old you are on the back of a snowmobile. I'm used to usually driving my own, and you're able to control, but it was quite a rough terrain, rough ride. Camping the whole way. Yeah, it was great. Rough ride the whole way across that Arctic Ocean ice. And this here is where we crossed a glacier to get over a mountain range. Incredible moments. Incredible weather. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. We were very lucky. You can get storm stayed up there. There was one story of people who went into Grise Fjord, flew into Grise Fjord, and they stayed for 10 days in Grise Fjord. They'd only planned to stay a day. No planes could get in, nothing could come and go because the storm was so bad. This is just across from the Eureka weather station. Yeah, incredible. The guide was worried about those winds, but thankfully they didn't come our way. The internet there was better than the internet I have here. We were on Starlink. I was like, oh, this is amazing. So anyway, I came home 15 pounds lighter. Yeah, that was just the reality of being able to take only a certain amount of stuff. I came home with about 42,000 images. I'm still not through them all because I got back and I worked on the forest fire work. But these 4 young men were incredible, incredibly skilled, incredibly gentle, very good humans. Made me very proud to be a Canadian and very humbled that they would share their nature with us. A lot of young people in northern communities are not like that, and this community is extra special. This community was moved there in the 40s and 50s. They were told they were only going to be there for 1 year. They were northern Quebec Inuit, and they never got picked up. They got left there and they stayed there. So kind of an interesting history and what they've become in terms of a group of people. These men still all hunt. It's not that they're not hunters, but they're very respectful hunters. And they have a respect for the wolves. And I said, will you hunt wolves after this trip? Yeah, we'll hunt wolves if they're near the community. That's just part of our culture. We do hunt wolves. But the one fellow, this next guy, he was quite a hunter. And when he ended the trip and having these experiences, he said, I never knew wolves were like this. Yeah. And for me, it was like being what I would suspect was the new frontier when people came across in wagons and such across the great North America way back when. I imagine it was like that. And I'll show you some of our caravans that we were in as well. But just the nature that you saw, it was unbelievable, and the way that they acted.
You might actually be the first Canadian, eh? Did you hear that? The first Canadian, eh?
So, do you want more Canadians?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, really, really respectful, and we're just ready to have a good time out here. Positive vibes.
So we've got people from all over the world. Where have you brought people from? Where are some of the most unique destinations?
As far as Australia, China.
Yeah, so I supposedly was the first Canadian, except for these men, that have been up there to Eureka on their excursions. And they've been doing them for 4 or 5 years. So we experienced 23 wolves in 5 different packs. Some of the interactions you can see were mere feet away, very close. And this is Terry Noah. He is the leader of Asoituk Adventures. That is a traditional seal skin jacket that he's wearing. Yeah, he's also a researcher, so along the trip we had to drill through the ice that was 3 meters thick, so very long handle ice augers, and drop probes down into the Arctic Ocean ice to measure various things for the Canadian government. So it was an incredible experience to experience this all. Amazing landscapes. Like I say, it felt like the old Wild West perhaps. Beautiful light, sun never sets at that time of year. This was the middle of May. And these are the caravans that we were in. So if things got rough and there was weather, we would just all climb into one of those and hide for 2 or 3 hours and then decide what we were going to do. But these Comatex were our safety line. There was nobody coming to rescue us if anything happened. And the Eureka Weather Station, where there's quite an establishment of probably 50 to 60 people in a beautiful building, when we asked if we could stay, they said no. So food was sparse, but it was okay. This is a video that I shot when one came quite close, a little time-lapse event. Yeah, they just walk right among us. It's incredible. That's 110 pounds of a lot of muscle and a lot of skill. A wolf can bite through your forearm and break it with just one push down. Their jaws are incredibly strong. They can outrun most of their prey, so they'd outrun me for sure. But they never, ever, ever showed any aggression. There was no aggression at all. And it really, when I came home, I won't lie, I had a little bit of eco-grief, because this is what nature is. It's not scared of us. It's not concerned with us. It just wants to coexist with us. And in an area where they don't see a lot of humans, there's about 200 Arctic wolves on Ellesmere Island, 200 white wolves. And there was times where we saw trails in the snow going through the valleys, and you could just only imagine what that must have been like for those wolves to be walking together as a big pack and just experiencing their environment. We also saw an area where they had taken down 3 muskox all at once. Yeah, wow is right. The guide even said that was incredible. So, how many people here have experienced wild wolves? 1, 2, wild wolves, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, a few. They're very shy here. They have a natural kind of fear of us. In the north, they had a natural curiosity. One night I was sitting out on a point. We changed our hours completely for light reasons. So we'd start work at about 7 p.m. and go till about 6 a.m. It was complete reverse. And we got into camp one night at about 5 a.m. and I said, I'm going to stay up and just sit on a rock and have a granola bar. I was starving, to be realistic here. Anyway, and no, I wasn't. But, and 2 wolves came walking in the distance, and they saw our camp, and they just, as soon as they saw our camp, they did a 180 and just walked towards us. I got all of camp up, and yeah, they were walking all around, and I mean, these wolves have maybe never even seen a human before, so. This was the Eureka pack here, the alpha. Yeah, king there. And he had a group of 4 last year. They believe that 2 of those have split off to form their own pack. It's the most studied wolf species in the world. David Meach lived with these wolves for 5 years back in the 70s and 80s. And a lot of what we know about wolves comes from him following these wolves. Is that where this happened, where they got used to humans and don't have that fear? It's hard to say. But we experienced muskox, we experienced foxes, we experienced everything, and it was just all very different than when I've traveled to the area that David's in. Relaxing morning, eh? Yeah. They look pretty scruffy, I won't lie. Like, he's looking pretty rough. But it's that time of year when they're going to look rough. They've just gotten through a very tough winter where minus 50, minus 60 is not uncommon. Look at that tail, eh? Probably a female. Any of the wolves that have a tail that's quite pulled off in terms of the fur and such, most likely a female, just part of the breeding process, just the way that their breeding cycle goes. So, beautiful herd of muskox, linebackers, prehistoric animal, yeah. And this is the main prey of those Arctic wolves. So at this time of year, any calves, there was 3 or 4 calves in that herd, those wolves would be kind of focused on that. They would be looking to capture any of the calves from here. Adults, tougher to get, but like I said, I did see that area where they got 3. We're suspecting that was a very large pack, not a small pack. Yeah, cheeky Arctic hares. Believe it or not, these guys are huge. They're higher than your knee, and they make a great meal for Arctic fox pups. So it's one of the primary foods that Arctic wolves will capture and bring back to the dens when it's denning season in the summer. Beautiful Arctic foxes. Yeah. Pretty incredible. Incredible moments. But this was the shot. And this was me laying down, and I kept saying, I believe, I believe, I believe. And the wolf walked over to me and not to anyone else. Incredible moment. Yeah. Probably 3 feet away. Yeah, just a mere 3 feet. So. What do you get when you cross an owl and a wolf? Howl. Good one. Howl. All right, let's do another draw here quick, okay, for another gift ticket for $50. This time we won't leave the fan to side, okay? All right. Will you do the honors? Do you want to put your name in quick? Yeah, you can put it on the back of here.
What's the speed limit to get here?
Uh-oh, people are throwing things at you. No, I'm just kidding, I'm kidding. Okay, all right. Okay, here we go. I hope it's you. Nancy DeMung, congratulations. Yeah, so at the end, okay? Right on, congrats, Nancy. Oh, it's you, sorry. What am I saying? Wrong DeMung, excuse me. There's multiple DeMungs here tonight. Anyway, okay, everybody doing okay still? Yep. Okay, we're getting to the end here, folks. All right. Oh, yeah, little bears. Okay, so someone brought up the bear at the co-op. Please be respectful with your garbage, with closing your lids, taking care of your recycling, everything. Do not compost. That is also a problem for the bears, okay? This is all photographed from the safety of a vehicle, so always be respectful. Get your shots and keep moving along, okay? We don't want to habituate bears. You see these bears that are walking around vehicles? That's probably a bear that's going to end up euthanized, okay? So we have to do the right thing and make sure you're encouraging all your friends and family to do the same. Yeah. Sometimes they have rough days too. Why did Mother Nature make only one Yogi Bear? Because when she tried to make a second one, she made a boo-boo. Hey Dale, you're laughing still. I love it. That's awesome. Wow. Should I give up my career with photography or? No? No. Okay, all right. We said there'd be grown-up jokes tonight, so. Okay. Anyway, these little guys stay with Mom for about 2 years. Okay, so they're with Mom for 2 years. And last spring in particular, there was a really good crop of bears, little bear cubs in Prince Albert National Park. Saw probably 4 or 5 different families. This family was in particular very cheeky, very fun, and just some amazing moments with them. Loving the branches there. And this little guy, yeah, I know, eh? So adorable. Yeah. Now, black bears are not a species at risk. There's a lot of them in Canada, thankfully. They're very used to us. And so that connection is kind of needed to be respected in terms of how we treat them and such. A little different than grizzly bears. Grizzly bears tend to be very shy of us. Polar bears will hunt us. Black bears are a little bit too curious in us, so we have to be careful. But from the safety of a vehicle, Nicholas shot this video while I was clicking away. You'll hear my camera. Anyway, fun little guys. And Mom was the cinnamon colored, so she had a cinnamon and a black. They can vary in their colors, and they can have up to 4 young. And documented in BC, one mother had 5 young, which I've never heard of. They only have 4 functional mammary glands, so how that worked out that all 5 little ones survived, I'm not sure. But anyway, this guy, you can catch it there for a split second when he's on a branch and he's playing with a new kind of aspen bud. And so, brave and blooming. You got somebody young in your life that's brave and blooming? Perfect image for him. So just an amazing little moment with this cinnamon colored black bear. Anywho. Okay. One final joke. Why did Tigger look in the toilet? Because he was looking for poo. Winnie the Pooh. Okay, enough. All right. I will unveil now. Janine is over here. Nicola's over here. Marla's over here. Allison is over here. All 4 of them. If you have any questions, please ask them. Okay, if you're looking for something, grab one of them. I'll be down at the end to say hi to people. If people want to say hi to me, if you want anything signed, let me know. We'll do the final draw, and then I'll ask you to keep loving nature. Okay? Thank you all for joining one of our biggest turnouts. How many people have been here for all 21 years? All 21 years. Anyone? Oh, Janine has been. Oh. And sorry, I forgot your name as well. You've been as well? 21 years? Oh, God, no. Okay, anyway. So I guess Janine gets the RAV, the silver RAV vehicle out there, whoever's that is. No, just kidding. Okay, the final draw, okay? I'm going to do it here. Dale Matthew or Matthew? That's you. Congratulations. Awesome. Okay, so there'll be a gift certificate up here for you, okay? Awesome. Sorry, Dale Potts, it's not you this year. Usually Dale, he said thank you. I love it. Anyway, usually Dale Potts wins. So thank you all again very much. If you'd like more wine, more refreshments, please go over and see George. I'll be at the back over there. And any questions before we tie up? Sorry, yeah, any questions? The Emma Lake Aurora was taken just over on Poacher's Road. Yeah, one evening. So basically just down the road here and then a little bit to the north. Yeah, Okama area. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so, okay. I had headed out on my snowmobile and found an area that I really liked and just sat and watched them. It's a pretty incredible moment. So, yeah. Have you seen them this year? Yeah, incredible. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, watch your glasses as you're coming out. I just noticed that, so be careful with the glasses. And thank you all again. Have a great summer. Okay, cheers.